What's going on, everyone? Back out in the hammock again. Got another day off. Thought maybe it'd be time to come out here, chill in the hammock, talk some Amico. Uh, I was thinking about talking about something else, but the Amico story just is the gift that keeps on giving. A lot of people have been talking about the Intellivision party at Retro Bros house. I've seen a few videos making fun of it. I saw Darius just recently posted a video, and I didn't watch all of it, so I don't know what exactly all he talked about. So I'm hoping I don't talk about some of the same stuff, but if I do, I apologize. I was bored at work yesterday, so I was watching some of that party, and I got through about an hour and a half of it, and I couldn't take anymore. I kind of had it on in the background while I was doing some other stuff. I had a earbud in my ear, so I was just listening to see what they said. And I actually made a few notes of some of the things. Nothing too great, just things I thought would be funny to talk about. The first thing I want to say is, so all these people they're into the Amico. They're really into the Intellivision Amico, and I can instantly say that if those are the type of people that this system is for, it is definitely not for me. Definitely not for me. The way that I could tell is they were drinking White Claw and taking shots of fruity brandy. No offense to anybody that drinks White Claw. I know some people do it because it's better it's got less calories and stuff, but I don't know, man. I'm old school. I grew up down in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a party school. Dude, if I was at that party, I would be drinking beer and shooting tequila. I mean, that's the kind of guy I am. I just thought right then, if they're drinking White Claw and shooting brandy, I'm like, that is not my scene. That is not my scene.
Yeah! Oh! Let's play some fucking Amico!
So, whatever. I mean, that was one thing I was thinking that was really funny. I'm like, I guess it's one thing if you're going to drink White Claw, but if you're at a party with like a group of grown men, fully grown men, and you're drinking like seltzer, I don't know, dude. I just drink some beer, man. Show the system as being like, kind of manly a little bit. I just, that was one thing that struck me as funny. And they keep saying, like the Intellivision Amico is for a certain type of person. That person is definitely not me, and I know it's definitely not a lot of you guys. Even if you do drink White Claw, that's okay. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or if you like brandy, at least shooting fruity brandy. I don't know. That just seemed weird to me. Shoot some tequila for God's sakes, or whiskey. But the thing is, that they keep saying, well, it's not for you. It's not for everyone. Well, here's the thing. We're still going to talk about it. We're still going to critique it. We're still going to make fun of it. I mean, look at Xbox and PlayStation. I mean, the fights online about that are insane online. Like how people are so pro their one system, and they point out any of the deficiencies of the other system. And I'm sorry, but the Amico is just riddled with deficiencies. Like it's way underpowered for compared to the main big boys, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. The games are very simple, and the controller is lame. I mean, it's like in sports, and like Retro Bro was talking about. He's like, yeah, check out my Philadelphia championship banner. Everybody talks shit about other sports teams, like if they suck or if their record's bad. So he knows. I know he talks shit. I know if he's a Philadelphia fan, he's talking shit, because Philly fans are notorious for being shit talkers and being crazy fans. So kind of goes with the territory. You know, we're going to talk about it. Um, the I I don't. I want to try to be nice. I want to try to be as nice as I can. I'm like I said, I'm not trying to make enemies on here, but it was just like the people at that party. It was kind of a douche fest. There was one group of guys that, what was their names? Like level 857 or something. They're probably pretty decent to hang out with. But they did have the stupid comment of saying, "Oh, the disc on the Intellivision controller, it's better than a D-pad." I'm like, okay, sure, better than a fucking D-pad. I'll give you maybe the D-pads on the Xbox, the new controllers. The D-pad does kind of suck, but a well-made D-pad, nothing beats it. I'm sorry. I mean, it's great. I grew up on it, and it was a revolutionary design for a controller. And you know, pretty much Nintendo was the first of it. I think on some of the Game & Watches they had used the D-pad. But I tell you what, I've heard Darius talk a lot of shit about that Retro Bro guy. That he's you know, kind of a meathead douche. And I tell you what, I don't watch any of his stuff. I don't really pay attention to a lot of those guys. I never knew who they were before I started watching Darius's videos. But I could just tell by watching that guy, man, I would not want to hang around him. I mean, he just, for one thing, the main thing that I noticed that was like irritating was, you know, he's sitting there doing, he's at his house, and he sets them up down in the basement with no fucking air conditioning. So they're down there just sweating their asses off. I'm sure it reeked of BO and locker room smells. And they're just down there getting hammered. But it's his live stream. He's doing his live stream. He sits there for about 20-30 minutes, and then he gets up and just abandons his live stream and basically makes other people sit there and do it for him. I even know that one dude, what, DJ C, is that his name or whatever? Like, he's sitting there and he's like, "Oh, okay, Retro Bro, come on back and take over your show." And then the dude just blows him off and leaves him to sit there. But the Retro Bro dude does come back, and he's like, "Did I get any super chats?" I'm like, what? Why would anyone be giving that guy money? First of all, why would? I mean, he does his content. What is the point of paying for that? It's actually starting to kind of rain out here, but you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. I'm gonna sit out here. It's just sprinkling, and I'm under a tree canopy, kinda, so it's not too bad. But he comes back another time, I notice, but because he didn't get any super chats. He got no super chats, because what's the point of paying money? It wasn't anything. They weren't really giving any good insight, and they weren't showing any gameplay. It was just them. It was weird, because they had like the camera pointed at them at the corner while all the gameplay and stuff is going behind them. Like, I'm sure Tommy didn't want, there were certain things that wasn't allowed to be on the camera. Okay, baby. And but still, it would have been a better setup if you could have just kind of worked it in a way where it had more of the people, showing the people at least playing, and you could kind of maybe arrange it to where it wasn't showing the screens. It was just a pathetic angle. And he comes back at another point, I noticed, and like grabs a hold of the comments, and he's scrolling through it. I know he was looking for super chats, people paying him money or whatever. And first of all, right away, don't give these people money. Do not give me money. I mean, I would never ask for money, and my content is not even anywhere remotely close to being worthy of getting money. There's no point to that. I mean, this is, unless you have like tons of subscribers and you're making like professional content, then okay, fine, you know, beg for money, e-beg a little bit, get paid for it because you're doing it. But most of these people that are doing this is just a little hobby. I mean, that, I don't know, that just rubs me the wrong way. And there's been some other YouTubers, that I really liked, and I don't want to mention names because that's not really, it's not what I want to do, but they do the same thing. They go on these streams and it's like basically just playing for money, and it's sad, really. I mean, it's just, this should not be a job. I know people want to try to make it as one because, hey, it could be great not to have to go to a place where you don't want to be every day and you're kind of doing your own thing, but it's just sad. It's just sad to me to see some of the YouTubers I really like doing all these stupid commercials, and I mean, I know they're getting paid, but I don't know. That's just nothing I would ever want to do. I don't know. But let's look at some of these notes here. So I'll be editing out as I'm reading, so there might be a couple jump cuts. Oh, yes, okay. So they were, it was, the whole party felt to me like just a corporate shill event. I used to work for a pretty big corporation. I was in management, and we would have to go to these things, these events or whatever, and it was literally just nonstop talk about how great the company is, and there was absolutely no criticism about anything. It was just everything they do is amazing, everything they do is great, and that's the kind of feel I got from watching these guys, and they kept going on and on about how we're not shills. I love Nintendo, for example, but I do not think everything they do is perfect. I mean, the Wii U, for example, was a shit system. I mean, it was. I didn't like it at all. I bought one and I barely ever played it. And I told people I didn't like it, and I had no problem doing that. And I've been a Nintendo fanboy since Super Mario Brothers 1, the first one. When I saw that game at one of my friend's house, it blew my mind compared to the Atari I had, and I'm hooked. I've been hooked ever since. But that's just the feel I got. It's like, because Tommy was there, and they're getting drunk and having a party, and it's like, oh, Amico, it's so fucking great. Oh my god, look at these games, they're amazing. And that one DJC dude kept making the same pathetic joke about how his jaw is going to hit the floor because of the Finnegan Fox. It's like, first time it was like, okay, that's kind of clever, but he kept saying it and kept saying it, kept saying it. It's like, dude, like, give it up. I mean, you did sound like a fucking tool. He said, as like a 40-year-old man to a little bitty children's game, it made your jaw hit the floor. I mean, it's literally like a bullshit game. There's nothing to it. And like Darius always says, like, if this was on another system, you would not give two shits about what it's about this game. But that was just the thing that I kept seeing, the theme of this party, as I watched these people keep getting more and more ripped, just about how, and they kept like having to reassure everybody, like, look at how much fun everyone's having. Oh my god, it's so great. And there was one guy that had a kid there, and it was like the part where he was talking about his kid was actually, as a father, I mean, I don't want to criticize it too much, because he said his son had autism and he was really like fitting in and having a good time there. So that's a good thing. But they kept talking about how much fun the kid's having, like the kid's playing video games at like a party where he's hanging out with grown-ups. So kids, I know my son would play all sorts of shitty games with us just to be able to hang out and be with the big boys, but the true test is when he's on his own, when the kids are on their own, are they going to pop this system in? And speaking of kids and the cult thing, I watched this other video this guy made, and I don't want to mention his name because it did have his children in the video, but he was talking about, like, it was only a couple minutes long. He's standing there filming the kids, and he's like, it almost felt like he was trying to sell the fact that these kids were going to be so excited about this, and changing subjects. They had Crayola event yesterday. The Amico did at some Crayola thing. They had it there playing. But it was really weird because the dad was like, well, we're going to go, you know how they have the Amico at the Crayola thing? Well, we're going to go this year. What do you think about that? And then, you know, it's like, you're going to get a chance to play the Amico. And they were kind of like, yay, okay. And then the weirdest part, the only reason I'm mentioning this video was because the dad was like, and there might be a chance that we're going to meet Tommy. And the kids got excited. And I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, it felt like to me, like, if you were in some weird cult and dear leader was coming, like, dear leader Tommy, Father Tommy, it's like, we might get to meet Father Tommy tomorrow. Yay! I mean, it was a real Ned Flanders vibe, like the Flanders family, you know, like, why would any kid be excited about meeting Tommy Tallarico? I can tell you right now, like, my son, if I tried to say anything like that to him, he would just be like, I don't want to go to that. That sounds lame, you know, like, and maybe going back to like who this system is for, this has to be for the kind of kids that, like, their parents just won't let them have an Xbox or a PlayStation. I mean, maybe they're the ones that are going to get some fun out of this. I mean, it's like, it'd be like the Wisdom Tree games on the original NES, the Bible games. You know, it's like you weren't allowed to get like Contra or Zelda. You had to get Bible Buffet, you know, or whatever. And it's like, if that's all you had, I guess they probably enjoyed it. But I tell you what, you give those kids an opportunity to play Minecraft, which Minecraft is a good game for children. There's nothing bad about that. You know, sure, Call of Duty, whatever, that's got some violence in it, if you don't want your kid away with that. But Minecraft is a fun game. It teaches kids creativity stuff because they can build and have all sorts of fun, and you can play survival and try to, like, you know, stay alive versus animals. And it's not like gore or anything. I mean, yeah, you can die in it, but you can die in Astro Smash. So it's like, if you completely, like, keep your child from having any fun, then sure, maybe he's gonna love the Amico. But I don't know. I saw that other video, and when I was talking about a kid, it reminded me, and that to me just seemed very, very strange. But yeah. Anyways, let me check my notes. Oh, another thing. They kept going on and on and on and on about how great the controller was. And I already mentioned that those one guys said that the disc is better than the D-pad, which everybody kind of walked that statement back because they realized how ridiculous it sounded. They were like, well, the disc is perfect for these games. It's perfect for these games on the Amico. And if a disc type controller is perfect for the games that you have, count me out, because that just sounds like an awful experience. And that's what some of them were saying, like, it so reminds me of the original Intellivision controller. It's just more round, and somebody said it just fits in your hand. Yeah, it's a controller. I mean, it's literally supposed to fit in your hand. So the thing, that's not a compliment. That's not a good thing. It just fits in your hand. I mean, yeah, the original Xbox controller was kind of big, so okay, great. You got a better controller than the original Xbox because it fits in your hand. But the original Intellivision controller sucks. I mean, it's crap. I can't even hardly play those games because of how trash that disc is. I mean, there's a reason why nobody uses that. And I was thinking, like, while I was listening to it, it's like, so, and I mentioned this in my last video about, like, the console wars, like, maybe the original console war, like, between Atari and Intellivision. So, these people, like, if you're, like, a pro Intellivision kind of dude, the very first controller you had was that Intellivision disc, and you were arguing with other people who had the joystick and or whatever, and then eventually, a decent D-pad if you got a Nintendo and you were still playing on the Intellivision, and you had to be like, if that was your system and that was what you had to be, you had to go on and on. The disc is awesome, man. I mean, it feels perfect in your hand. So it goes back to like that. Like your whole life you've been like the pro disc. You love the disc. So you're going to continue and be biased for that foreign television, and you're going to talk about how great the disc is on the controller. I'm sorry. That disc sucks. The disc sucks. I mean, and somebody was talking about, oh, it's not so bad using the touch screen as your fire button. Oh, God, that sounds like a miserable experience to me, because I cannot play games. I try to play games on my phone that have like a D-pad that you can push kinda and buttons, and I can't do it. I mean, I can kind of do it, but it's not fun. I mean, it's literally like an emergency situation where I'm stuck at an airport and I'm tired of watching videos and I want to play a game, so I do that and I tolerate it because of the situation I'm in. But if I'm at home, I am not using touchscreen controls. I mean, I got to have that tactile feel. I got to have that push button, just to know that I'm hitting it, that it just tapping a button, tapping a screen just that just doesn't feel right to me. And again, this is what it is. It's not meant for me. It's not meant for me, because I don't drink White Claw and shoot Randy and dance around in a Care Bear outfit and act like a dumbass in my basement filled with other dumbasses. So it's not for me. Whatever. What else we got? Oh, okay. So another thing that they were talking about, and it goes back to Tommy. I mean, one of them was talking about how amazing it is that Tommy is there, and this will never happen again probably in history, that during a console launch that these little bitty YouTubers will get an opportunity to play these demo games on a system that hasn't been released yet. And no, it won't, because this is screwed up. This is weird. This is not normal. This is not how you launch a console. It's a weird cult little bitty community, and I mean, I guess that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be just like some weirdos that are like really really into this game, because I can tell you right now, I mean, I could buy this thing and maybe get like 5 minutes of entertainment out of it, but it's not going to get turned back on. It's not going to get turned on that much. I mean, it can't, because I saw some of the gameplay, the things that they were raving about. Like, they kept going on about this game Flying Tigers, about how, oh my god, I love shooters, it's so amazing, it's like TurboGrafx 16 shooters. And you couldn't really see that good of footage of it, so you couldn't really sure if they were being BS or not. But I saw some footage of that game that they had at the Crayola event, and it looked like crap. I mean, it just looked like a generic shooter that you would get on your phone. It looked slow. I mean, it looked like 1942. If 1942 sucked, I mean, that game is so much better. The original 1942 is such a better game than Flying Tigers. And I didn't really see any other gameplay footage, but I just can't imagine seeing what Flying Tigers look like. I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, and Darius always talks about how it's shovelware, and that's what it is. That's what this system is. It's like a phone system that you would dock in front of your TV, and it's got some bullshit controllers that you can play these crappy games for. And I just can't imagine who that's for. I mean, I guess it's for those people, but even then, I don't feel like a lot of them are they're not going to play this system like they're claiming that how great it is. I mean, I really think that they've just kind of bonded together because of all the hate they've gotten. So their opinion is so biased at this point, because there's no way in hell they're going to say one negative little thing about it, because they're probably all invested in it, at this point, which that's just lame. I mean, that's where the whole corporate shill thing comes in. Like, oh, the Intellivision is so amazing. It's so, oh my God, the controller is perfect. These games, man, listen to the music. They look beautiful. They sound amazing. The disc controller just feels so perfect in your hand. I mean, you don't even notice that it has less buttons because you're playing it like this, or you can hold it like this. Like, dude, give me a fucking controller. Give me a controller that's normal, that I can hold. Give me the joystick. Give me a D-pad. Give me some buttons that I can push. Give me some shoulder buttons. I mean, I would even rather play with the Nintendo 64 controller than this, and that thing, it's not the greatest, but it's definitely feels better. Like it's something in your hand, like it just feels right. Or the NES joystick, or the NES controller, it feels right in your hand. The NES Max controller with that disc thing, that feels like garbage. Like, it has the turbo functions, but that's just like that little disc thing that's sliding around, and that's like kind of what this thing feels like it's gonna be to me. I mean, like, no, man, no. Give me my directional pad, or give me a joystick, that I can just use my thumb and put it in the direction that I want. That feels right to me. Just a little mushy disc thing, because if it's anything like the original Intellivision controller, they're talking about, I mean, trash. But yeah, that's pretty much all the notes I had. It just, and like I said, I didn't watch the end of the thing. I did hear something. I read one of the comments in one of Darius's videos about how Cyrus Martin, I guess, freaked out some kid or something, like, and that was the other thing that was kind of creepy and weird to me. Like, who gets hammered around children like that? I mean, that Retro Bro dude was just cussing up a storm as children are walking by, dropping F-bombs and using foul language. And if it's supposed to be like a good family-friendly system, then why are you getting hammered while you're showing it off? Like, what is that about? Like, just, do you have to get drunk to have fun with it? Is that what it is? Is that how it works? It's like a party system, like where you have to get hammered? Because the Nintendo 64 was a party system, and I didn't have to be drunk to play that. I mean, yeah, sure, plenty of times I did play Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Or James Bond, like, whatever. I mean, yeah, there was a few times I got hammered, but I didn't have to be drunk to play that, and that's almost like the feeling I got yesterday. Like, if you got kids over and you're doing this and you're showing off the system, why get hammered? And why dance around in a Care Bear suit? And I don't know. Just a strange group of people. I don't know. Like I said, it's not for me. It's not for you. It's not for any of us. But we're going to talk about it, because that's what we do. That's how we are. We make fun of your shitty sports team. We make fun of your shitty console. And we're going to keep doing it. So, whatever. Anyways, rain's picking up, so better get in. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.